Hi, I'm Maeva, and this is Raising with the Village, a podcast where real parents share real stories so we can all feel a little more connected in this wild journey of raising children. Today, we're diving into a story that flows, quite literally actually, with calm, confidence, and a lot of water. Melissa is a mum of 3, and all 3 of her babies were born in water. In this episode, she takes us through her journey from being a first-time mum in her 20s to a seasoned water birther who's learned to trust her body, her instincts, and the process. She'll share what first inspired her to choose a water birth, how each experience was different, and what she's learned along the way, including what she might do differently if she could go back. Let's listen to Melissa's story. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good.
Shall we start with some quick introductions?
Okay, my name is Melissa. I'm a mum of 3, and I had all my births were in water, which I appreciate. I'm quite lucky. And 2 of the girls, they were both born in their sack, which is, again, I heard quite unusual. And back in the day, this was called a mermaid baby because the sailors used to take the sack on the ships with them for good luck. And I was quite lucky to have 2 that came out like that. It was quite impressive, if I'm honest, when my firstborn swam to the top in a little alien sack.
I'm so excited to hear about that story. All right, let's get started. Let's restart, sorry.
Okay.
Let's go back to the very, very top of the story.
Okay.
So you said you've had 3 water births.
Yes.
3 children, 3 water births.
Yeah.
Let's start with the very first one. So how long ago was that?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. And can I ask you how old you were at the time?
I just turned 26.
Yeah. So you were quite young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, so start of the pregnancy, were you already thinking about your birth plan? Is that something you even had in mind actually?
No.
No.
I was very naive, didn't know that you had to have a birth plan in place. In my head, I thought, yeah, I'd love to have it in water. But at 8 weeks, I started having a bleed, which I was led to rush to hospital, very prepared to be told that I was having a miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in A&E for hours, and then eventually we went and got a scan, and I can remember the midwife really prepared me that there probably won't be a baby, and she was completely gobsmacked when she saw there was a little heartbeat going, and then that's when we discovered that I had a love heart uterus, which at the time I thought was bizarre. So half of my uterus thought I was pregnant, the other half didn't, so it was flushing out the blood. And it just meant I had to be under watch for a while. But as my little one grew, my uterus just sorted itself out and everything became safe. So at one point, I was told I might have to have a C-section, but luckily that wasn't the case. And then I just thought I'd just have a natural birth. And in my head, I always thought I'd have a water birth, but never discussed it with my midwife because I was so naive. And it was only when we turned up at the hospital that I was like, oh no, I want to have a water birth. And then they were like, oh, we better ring Oasis and see if they've got availability.
Oh, sorry. So before we jump into that,
Yes,
because I feel like we're going to jump into a whole story and that's going to be great. But can we just go back a little bit? So 8 weeks, you find out that you've got a love heart-shaped uterus, yes. Meaning that half of your uterus is aware that you're pregnant and the other half isn't.
Yeah.
And how was the follow-up with that through your maybe first trimester? Or
Yeah, it was just really the first and the second trimester. I just had a few extra midwife appointments, not scans, but just where they kept a check of the heartbeat, basically. But other than that, I think because I was so young at the time. Like, at the time I didn't feel young, but looking back now, I was quite young at the time. I think that was always, I had age on my side, so they wasn't that concerned. But other than just a few extra heartbeat sessions, if you like, where they just monitor, that was all that really happened. But I did bleed for about 2 weeks after, which was quite a lot. And I can remember I was so anxious. I always did everything by the book, but I kept doing pregnancy tests because I kept thinking, have I lost her? Have I lost... I didn't know it was a girl at the time, but I kept thinking, have I lost the baby?
Were you involved with the early pregnancy unit at this point? To have extra scans maybe to check the progression of the fetus?
No, they didn't do anything like that. So, like I said, once they were only ever monitoring the heartbeat, I just had a couple of extras. And I remember I was so concerned, I rang up my auntie, who was a midwife, an ex-midwife, and she rang up her midwife friend, and I popped to her house for her to just do a random check of the heartbeat. But other than that, I didn't get any special treatment at all. It was just a few extra midwives to check the sizing of my belly and things like that. And then once I got to, we had the 20-week scan at King's, which is a very thorough scan. I can remember we were there for 2 hours. Everything was just smooth sailing after that.
Okay.
And it was just that you'll be fine to have a regular birth.
Right.
So,
because up to that point, were they thinking...
It was going to be a C-section.
A C-section.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be on the safe side, I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
That makes sense. And obviously that's a decade ago, but are you able to remember what state of mind you were in? Do you think maybe
I was
your youth
anxious.
helped you?
No. I was anxious as anything. Like, I wouldn't drink coffee. I certainly wouldn't touch alcohol. I wouldn't even go near a prawn. Anything that was told was bad for you and you shouldn't do, I made sure I didn't do. I took all the supplements. I was a real anxious person, and I did nothing that you weren't meant to do, and I was ever so careful.
Well, let's be clear, alcohol in pregnancy is never fine.
No,
it's not a case of, no, that's fine, I've got a regular uterus, okay, let's have a bit of sham. No, never an option.
I know, but some people do tend to have the odd one, don't they? I'm not that type of mum, but I know of people that have had the odd toast at a wedding and things like that.
Yeah.
But no, I was very careful with everything after that. But I am genuinely an anxious person anyway, but it made me...
Probably didn't help.
Yeah, it made me a lot worse. So, but yeah, and I can remember the bigger we got and you felt the kicks, it was like, hang on, again, I didn't know she was a girl, but I was constantly, have I felt any movement today?
Monitoring very
very closely.
Yeah.
But I don't think it ever stops, even once they arrive. It gets worse.
So. Okay, so 20 weeks scan, very thorough scan, and they confirmed that which actually is probably the point where you found out that it was a little girl?
No, I didn't find out.
Okay, so the surprise baby then at 20 weeks, confirmation, green flag, the baby is good, the uterus is it's
just grown as it should. So now that baby's just pushed it out basically. Yeah. So with my second and third, that wasn't an issue at all.
Yeah. Okay. So it was just the first time that somehow your uterus was like, well, let's be a duplex.
Yeah.
But after that, it was like, no, let's be a full loft.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Something like that. Okay. So 20 weeks, you've got, confirmation from the medical professionals. Everything is fine. Baby is good. Growth is good. I'm assuming. Yep. Baby is growing well. And so at this point, do they start talking about birth plan at 20 weeks? It sounds a bit early, doesn't it?
Do you know what? I think, like I said, I was so naive, and I'm pretty sure I never had any midwife mention a birth plan to me because I didn't have anything in place. And it was only after that, having my first, now I know, like I knew for the second and the third what to have in place. I can remember just thinking I wanted a water birth, but never discussed it apart from casually saying, oh, I want a water birth. I think probably at my 36 weeks appointment, I probably mentioned it. I can remember my midwife that I saw regularly was called Pat, which doesn't happen now. It didn't happen with my second and didn't happen with my third. But with my first, the midwife appointments were much far and few between. And I had a regular midwife at every appointment that I saw, and her name was Pat.
So lucky.
But I don't think like that never happened with my second, and it didn't happen with my third. So I don't think that happens anymore, which was quite nice. And I remember saying to her, I want a water birth. And she was like, yeah, you'll be fine to have that. And that was it. But
that was
she never said, we need to arrange it. We need to talk to, because the birthing suite at my hospital was called Oasis. She never said, like, let's contact them. But for my second and third, I knew that I had to contact them and put my net, like, give them the dates that I was due and stuff so they could be prepared for me to turn up.
Okay.
But it was just off the off chance with my first.
So then, first pregnancy, you're chatting with Pat and you're telling her that you'd like a water birth. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
So everyone's very relaxed about it.
Yeah.
Did you ever prepare for this water birth? Did you ever have any, I don't know, sessions, maybe
No.
with Pat? Doesn't sound like it. But maybe with other people? I don't know, a doula?
No.
No?
No, like I said, I was 26, so we didn't have much money. I didn't know about a doula or anything like that. And I couldn't afford NCT because I had to pay out for a pram and everything else. So no, we had no support apart from like my parents and my partner's parents and my auntie, because she's a midwife. Everything went back to her a lot. But yeah, we did. I just Googled. That was how I got most of my information, was Googling at the time. And I think back thinking, oh my God, I was so unprepared. But like I said, I was young. I was so much younger.
So you mentioned your partner. What was the preparation there?
I just had my other half and my mum.
So it was like, by the way, it's going to be a water birth.
Oh, yeah.
Take your swimming trunks.
No, he wasn't getting it with me. He didn't have that option.
It's not for you. The jacuzzi is for me and the baby. Not you.
Yeah.
Okay, so no preparation for him?
No. And I didn't even bring him. I remember packing my stuff, and I just brought him some boxers and socks, but that was it. And then obviously I had a load of stuff for me and little one. But yeah, hardly anything. Didn't bring him any snacks, nothing. Didn't even bring him a drink.
Okay.
So
sorry, did you say I didn't bring him?
Yeah.
I don't think that's, I think it's fine if you don't pack for him.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like you're busy enough that he probably should be able to pack for himself.
I agree. But as you know, we do everything for them. So
So before we unfold the story, I was just wondering, where did you get the idea from in the first place? Like, what did you know someone who had a water birth? Or?
Didn't know anyone. I think I probably just saw it on telly that it was something. It was an option. I know they did water births at home, but I was not going to do that at home. But it was just something. I've always been comfortable with water. And I just thought it was something that would be right for me. As you know yourself, when you have period pains, the nice thing to do is go get in the bath. And again, that is such a thing that you get in the water. And as you're having them contractions, you do feel more comfortable because it's nice and warm. You've got the gravity helping you. It's just more relaxing than laying on the bed against the grain, if you like.
Yeah.
And I just knew it was the right thing for me. But obviously there was a lot of things I was really worried about.
Did you realize when you went for the water birth option, did you realize that it meant a medication-free, or actually, am I even right in thinking it's a medication-free option?
Yeah, you can't have an epidural.
Exactly. So did you realise that's what it meant?
Yeah, because I didn't want an epidural. I
Okay.
really was against an epidural. I wanted the gas and air, and I had the gas and air.
Yeah? Is that compatible?
That's absolutely fine. But yeah, you're not allowed an epidural to have.
That makes sense. That doesn't sound very safe to have an epidural whilst in water, or I mean, before getting in water. But yeah, this doesn't sound very safe. What else can you get in terms of pain
I think
management?
it's just gas and air.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
pretty sure.
the odd paracetamol here or there.
Yeah, I think, if you wanted something like that. But I don't think they never offered me that with any of them. But they offered me the gas and air, which really did help.
Okay, good. Right, so let's jump to the day or the night. I don't know. How far along did you go in your term, if you remember?
I went into labour on my exact due date.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh my God. And that was a mermaid baby, we already know. So it was a mermaid baby in a love heart-shaped uterus that came on their exact due date in water. I mean...
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Are you a fairy?
I literally always say, I sound like I'm making my birth story up, but I promise you I'm not. It all fell in this place. And I can even remember the song that she was born to. And again, it just sounds like I'm making it up.
Beautiful song, but what was it? Tell me.
Isn't she lovely? And I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I swear to God.
I'm trying to think about a horrible song to be born to.
I know.
I don't know.
Isn't she lovely? But with my son, there was horrible songs playing. I had Everybody Hurts Sometime, and I was like, why is this playing right now? But my firstborn, it was like a real magical experience. When I relay it, everyone's like, really? And I'm like, honestly, this 100% happened.
It did. Okay, so that is so amazing that it happened on your due date, on your exact due date. So, on your due date, if you can remember, how did the labour start?
So, I can't remember. I was at home. We were renting a little flat at the time, and I was at home, and I woke up first thing in the morning, and I went to the toilet, and I had blood. And I instantly rang my mum. And I was like, oh my God, there's blood. She's like, don't panic, that's probably your plug. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, it just means that baby will be coming shortly. Don't worry too much. And then as the day progressed, I was just getting contractions throughout the day. And I went round my mum's because I was in so much pain, and she cooked us a roast dinner. Like, I remember eating the roast dinner. And then we did phone the hospital, but they told us, like, don't rush. And I believe that we left my flat for about 8:30
PM?
PM, 8:30 PM.
Oh, yeah, of course, you just had a roast. Yeah. It's been odd to have it for breakfast.
Yeah, no, we left about 8:30 PM. And I don't think I was fully dilated to about 11:30, and then
Quite quick.
Got into the water about that time, about 11:30.
Okay, so you phone the hospital when you're still at home?
Yeah.
When you call them, do you tell them about the water birth?
No.
Or still not?
I literally just turned up, and we went to the main birthing area, and then I was like, oh, but I really want a water birth. And then they rang Oasis, and then we walked over. They were like, yeah, we've got a room free, tell her to come over. So I was incredibly lucky because it wasn't planned at all. Even though in my head it was planned, it wasn't planned with the hospital.
Yeah, it was not shared with the team for them to prepare for you.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about what the room looks like, Oasis. What does it like? I mean, first of all, I really like it. I mean, we're in the whole musical theme, so I'm liking that. But what does it look like, that room, when you walk into the room? So,
for my firstborn, the room was very big, and in the middle of the room was this massive pool, which looks like a jacuzzi. And it was very, very big. There was a bed, and there was actually a sofa in this room. It was bizarrely big. And I can remember they had a Dyson purifier, and I was like, yeah, let's stick that on.
Okay, I was thinking a Hoover. It's like, okay.
No, a Dyson purifier. I was like, let's stick that on because it's really hot in here. And then they put the radio on, and they're like, what do you want to listen to? And I think we just went for Heart. And then we get in the water, and they give you the gas and air. And I did get told off a lot by the midwives because you don't really know what you're doing, do you?
Yeah.
You have no clue what you're doing. And she kept telling me that I got to stop taking the gas and air in and start pushing. But I just wanted that gas and air.
Do you remember how many people were in the room with you?
I had my mum, my partner, and then also I had one midwife, but another midwife just kept coming in and checking. But that main midwife was with me the majority of the night until she was born.
What was the atmosphere in that room? Was it sort of calm and relaxed, or was it, on the contrary, a bit, I don't know, filled with excitement?
I think it was a lot of excitement. I don't think it wasn't relaxed. Certainly, like looking back at all three, the other two feel a lot more relaxed. As my first felt more clinical, even though it was water, it was much more clinical. All the lights were on.
Okay.
And in my others, they weren't. So it was much more clinical. But yeah, everyone thinks they had a hard birth, of course, and thinking at the time it was like, this is hard, like just get out of me now. But when I look back, I realised how lucky I was, but it did feel very clinical and stressful. Did
you ever have any doubts whilst you were going through your labour? Well, when with the contractions coming, do you have any doubts that you were like, actually, do you know what? It's much stronger than what I expected. I've changed my mind.
No.
Can I have the epidural?
No, I was really against having the epidural from the get-go. So I don't think would have gone for that. But no, I knew water was always the right thing for me. Like, I just knew it.
That's so powerful. I'm really loving that. That's so great. Okay, so you're going in. You've got your cheerleaders, mum and partner. You've got your midwife staying with you through the night. How long did birth last for? Sorry, did you mention that she was born at 11?
No, I got in the water about 11:30 and she was born at 3:45 a.m.
Yeah.
So quite a few hours, really.
And were you in water for
the whole time?
You didn't leave the water?
No, didn't get out. They top it up a lot.
I was going to say, from a practical point of view, do they top it up to maintain the temperature?
Yeah,
maybe?
Constantly. So they're like, do you need more water? And I'm like, yeah, top it up. Yeah, they do top it up a lot. So, but yeah, no, it was, whatever you want, they get you, if you know what I mean. And of course, I think if I wanted to get out, there is a bed in that room for you to get out and do what's needed. So, but I was lucky enough that I didn't need to get out.
So what were your your mum and your partner doing when you were in the pool? Were they, I don't know, holding your hand? Were they talking to you?
Yeah, I think my mum was holding my hand. I think my partner was probably just irritating me, if I'm honest. Knowing him, I was probably like, just go away. I probably just wanted my mum. But knowing him, it was probably just annoying me. I don't remember ever shouting or being aggressive towards him. And I think I was quite tamed, like, in the water, but yeah, I don't know. I don't remember ever arguing with him, but I know he probably was irritating me.
Poor him if that was not the case, but that's how we'll remember it. And now it's here forever. Okay, and then a good few hours later, baby girl comes out.
Yeah.
It's a surprise. And so you mentioned at the very top of the conversation that she was born in her sac.
Yes.
So what does that mean? Because usually babies like head first and then shoulders and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But what does...
So she still came out like head first, then shoulders. But because she was born in because my waters didn't break, she was still in her little sac. And then I wish we recorded it because it was so mad. But she literally swam to the top of the water in this bubble, and then the midwife just like popped the sac and then just gave it to me. I'm still in the water at this point, and instantly she pooed this sort of black tar all down me. But you're in the water, so you're not that bothered. And then,
also you're probably full of lots of different fluids from...
Yes.
So you're probably not that bothered anyway.
Not that bothered. They gave me only a few minutes, I guess, and then took her off of me and gave her to Dad. And then I had to get out because I then had to birth the placenta, which I did opt for the injection because I wasn't going through that again. So, and that was on a bed.
Okay. Okay. So that was not.
Yeah,
so
that
at this
wasn't
point,
in the water.
You came out of water, and that was it. You didn't. Yeah. Of course, you don't go back because I'm assuming that it's probably not the cleanest water.
No. So you come out, you birth the placenta, and then they cut the cord, and then it's pretty much your choice if you shower or get dressed or whatever. I think I'm trying to remember. I think I just got dressed, and then I cuddled her, and then I think about an hour or so later, I did go shower. I think, probably about an hour later, I went and showered and really freshened up. So, and that was my first. So,
and that's such a beautiful story, and I'm so glad that it went the way it went. It sounds like everything was just so perfect, so aligned.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I know when I'm talking about it, it sounds like I made it up, but I promise you it's not the truth. It's the absolute truth.
Okay, so first birth. A few years later, you decide to have a second child.
Yes.
Did you know already this time from the get-go, it was like, it's going to be a water birth?
And instantly. But I really prepared myself that I already had a water birth. So like chances are it's not going to happen because no birth's the same. It is just pure chance. But in my head, it was always a water birth. So from the get-go, I was on, and even though there was only 2.5 year gap, things had really changed at the hospital. But from the get-go, I was under the Oasis suite. So all of my midwife appointments were now at Oasis, and not like before. My midwife appointments were over at King's or the Beacon in Beckenham. But this time, everything was just at the hospital or at King's, and it was all done at Oasis because I don't know if things had changed or what, but it was this completely different experience.
Was it a good experience?
Yeah, it was good. Again, I had another girl. Everything was, the love heart uterus wasn't.
It was not a thing anymore.
Not a thing anymore. I did have a touch of spotting to begin with, but other than that, and it was tiny bit, which I believe is quite common. But other than that, everything was normal. And then again, she came. I went into labour on her due date.
Oh my God! Did you play the lottery?
I know.
Twice.
So even though I went into labour on their due date, but because it was in the evening, they were born the next day. But I think it
still counts. In my book, it still counts.
So, and again, we arrived. I can remember again. I had the plug, so I was like, "Oh, could be coming today." And then I was still in the same flat actually, and I had contractions throughout the day, but I thought, I'm just going to try sleep. I went to bed, and then at 2:00, I woke up and I was like, this is bad. I've got to ring the hospital. So I rang my mum first because she had to come and look after my baby. And then And then I rang the hospital and they were like, okay, we're ready for you. So when we arrived, the pool was already set up. I quickly changed into my top and I got in the pool. And again, my waters didn't break with her. So I can remember like getting her head and shoulders out, and then she just came out. But again, she was in her sack. But this time, as she hit the water, her sack broke as she hit the water, and the midwife had her. And again, was given her for a few minutes until I had to get out to again birth the placenta. And that was a very fast. I got to the hospital for about 2:30, and at 4:45 she was born, so it was much quicker.
That was quick.
Yeah.
So no roast this time.
No roast.
No roast this time. It was like, right.
But again, it was evening. In my mind, babies are always born at night because that's what's always happened for me.
Well, that's very fair. I think it's quite common as well.
Yeah, I think it's when our bodies relax.
Yeah.
That's when we kind of go into labour.
And so for this second birth, did you do any preparation, or did you think, I've done it before, I trust my body, I trust myself?
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll go how it goes.
I was obviously very insistent that I wanted a water birth. I was very conscious because obviously once you're a mum, you meet loads of other mums and you hear about their stories. And I thought this very unlikely I'm going to get 2 water births. But it was still, that's what I wanted. And I was lucky enough that, again, I just had a textbook labour, and it was very quick and she was healthy. I had to add, I was still in my late 20s, or my mid-20s, late 20s, which I think helps a little bit, being that little bit younger. But she just came out really easy. And I can remember we were home by 12 o'clock the next day.
Wow.
So like once they did their checks, her hearing checks and all of that, they then just let us go home at 12 the next day. So we were just in and out of that hospital. It was bizarre. And I can remember like walking around Sainsbury's thinking, I gave birth like 12 hours ago and now I'm walking around Sainsbury's buying her clothes.
I like this idea, but it's true.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was my middle birth was definitely my easiest. Definitely.
Yeah, because it was so quick.
It was very quick. My body took over. I knew when to breathe. I knew I knew when to push and when to breathe, and my body just knew what it was doing, and it was very, very easy.
Did you take Gassonair as well?
I took Gassonair. I'm taking that Gassonair if I can take the Gassonair.
I'm taking it home. Thank you. Just pack it. I'll go home with it.
No, it was very good. So, and then unfortunately, I did rip every time, but I always had that Gassonair when I was being stitched. So, yeah, which is quite nice that they still give it to you for that.
Yeah. Okay, and so second birth, your easiest out of all three.
Yeah.
And a few years later, you decide to have a third baby.
Yeah.
Still a gender surprise?
Yeah, still don't know what I'm having.
Yeah.
But things were just slightly different with this pregnancy. I was a little bit older. I was now in my early 30s. Definitely felt more tired, but I was still very convinced I was having another girl. But my due date came and went, and I was like, oh, maybe this isn't a girl. Because my due date came and went, and then I went in to have a sweep, which was not something that I would ever want to do again. And that brought on my labour.
Was it uncomfortable? Was it painful?
Yeah, I'm just very cringed out by things like that. And it wasn't the most pleasant thing, but it certainly did bring on my labour. Like, I was ready to have this baby, and it did say, I was like, yeah, let's just do the sweep because I want them to arrive. So he was 1 week late, and the sweep brought the labour on. Again, all seemed quite good. I rang up We, again, going for a water birth, couldn't believe I was getting another water birth. Got to there, the water was ready. And pushing him out was okay. It was quite quick. I think we got there, again, around about the same sort of time. Well, a bit early. He was born at 1:30, so we must have got there for about 11-ish. But I remember not being in the water that long at all. And this is when we were having songs like Everybody Hurts Sometimes. And I was like,
whose choice was that? Was that the radio still? Or was that your playlist?
No, it's just the radio, like Heart, I think. And I can remember thinking, why are they playing this song? And it was loads of songs about people being in pain. I was like, yes, I know. But I can't remember what song he was born to. But there was a lot of Wham being played as well. I always say I think he was born to Wham. But once I gave birth to him, he came out. He was a really big boy, really big. And then I had to get out and do the placenta. But then I had a really heavy bleed. And I think this is probably why he was my hardest. Everything was always really textbook before. And everything was really safe. But because I had this bleed, I didn't realise at the time how serious it was, but they got me out. They rushed me straight over to a different unit, which was really unusual because before it was like you were just in this thing, in this room until you asked to leave, basically. You had the birthing suite until you left. But instantly they just rushed me over to a different thing. And I can remember my partner stayed with little man and I was just really like, what's happening? And then they came and they just kept doing checks and I just couldn't stop bleeding. And then eventually it just all came to a stop. The blood just stopped, but they had to attach me up to I can't think of what they're called, a catheter, which is like my worst nightmare. I couldn't think of anything worse. So I was attached to a catheter and I was monitored really closely. And eventually I was like, oh, can we try take it off? So they eventually took the catheter off and they were like, listen, you're going to be in for a couple of days. And I was like, oh, I really don't want to. I want to go home. I want to see my girls. And they were very cautious. And then they were like, look, let's play it by ear. But we need to keep seeing you wee. And I was like, that's fine. I love to wee. So I just kept going. Yeah,
I love to wee.
I do. And I just had to keep showing them my wee. And eventually they were like, I think you're okay. You can go home. So, but it was when I look back, it was quite a scary experience. But I didn't think it was at the time. But when I think about it, I don't remember them doing any checks on little man. They were just worried about me. So my bleed must have been quite bad. But eventually it just sorted itself out. So, but yeah.
So you stayed an extra couple of days?
No, they did let me go out. They let me leave. So in total it was 24 hours, which wasn't that bad.
Okay. But it was probably more the anticipation of having to stay for much longer, being away from the girls. Yeah.
And I think I was just really emotional about that. And I just want to go home. I don't want to be here. And of course, before, I was never in a ward. I was always just had my own little room.
Yeah, that was new.
Which
was completely new to you.
Yeah, so it was really overwhelming being in a ward. And I think most of the women must have had C-sections because they were all on catheters. And it was during COVID, so I had to keep having COVID tests. And it was a really different experience to the girls. To
the girls, yeah.
But I don't know what caused it. Just one of them things. Like, I just thought everything would be textbook again, and it wasn't. But yeah.
You mentioned something about your baby being big. That the third one, your son being big. Actually, I was thinking, I didn't ask you. How big were the first two?
They were both 7.2.
Oh, okay.
So they're both quite small girls, and then my little man was 8, 9, which is quite big from having.
Did you ever
2
take
little.
that into consideration when you considered your water birth?
No, because, and I feel like they always say this. They're like, "Oh, not sure what size baby is, looking a bit small," or sometimes they go, "Oh, baby looks a bit big." But they would never told me that he was big. Obviously, I didn't know it was a boy at the time, but it was just that he's the right size. And I just think he was too big for me.
Yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
maybe that's what happened? That
Yeah.
he was a bit too big, and so I don't know.
No one told me why I bled so much. I was
One of
never
those mysteries.
told why that was. It was just one of them things. I could have just had more blood than needed, maybe. Who knows? Because obviously, and then after each birth, they was all very different. Like, I can remember I stopped bleeding quite, within a few weeks with my first, but with my second, I bled for ages, like for a really long time. But again, with him, I did stop bleeding after a couple of weeks. So I know each time it's all very different, but yeah, I just don't know what that was. And don't get me wrong, I'm very lucky to have what I have, but I wouldn't want to go in for any more.
No.
Not because of the experience of the last, but I just think my family's complete, basically.
Yeah.
So.
And that came together beautifully as well. If you were to sort of travel in time and meet with Melissa from 11 years ago, what would you tell her?
What regarding?
With regards to the water birth, is there anything that you feel you'd want her to know?
Yeah, to be more organised and stop being so naive. So, like I said, I think I was just so young. Like, I don't know, I just think I was young and I didn't have any friends with children. And NCT was still a really big thing back then, but of course it was so much money. And there wasn't other options like there are now. I just think I needed, probably the NHS should have given me more guidance, if I'm honest.
What did that change through the births? Did you find that you had more information as you were progressing with second and then third birth?
I think you do, but I then think, is it that your knowledge grows anyway because you've been through it, and your friendship grows because you meet new people and they give you so much advice. And again, my career changed, and I think big part of my career change with my career path was all around children, which again gave me a lot of advice and stuff. Yeah, definitely my first, I was incredibly naive, and I don't think there was much support from the NHS, if I'm honest. And even after, there's not much support from the NHS. Like,
in terms of recovery?
Yeah, I think there's probably more with my first than I had with my second and my third. We had a lot more home visits, as with the others, there was less home visits. And yeah, just little things like that. But if I was to go back, I would definitely say that to join some form of like group, if it was NCT or something else, just to have a little bit more support and knowledge from others. Because one of the things I was always adamant about was to not breastfeed. Because again, I'm quite a cringy person, and it's right for some, but I knew it wouldn't be right for me. And I was definitely felt I was very pushed by the NHS to breastfeed. But with my second and third, don't know if that's because I was already a mum. They didn't ask me at all. It was just, it's your choice and that's fine. But with my first, I felt a lot of pressure from them to try. And again, I just know it wasn't for me. I'm just not.
I think it's so wonderful that you know yourself and that you knew yourself so well from such a young age, because I think it can, it's something that very often hopefully comes with age, comes with
Yeah.
time. You learn to know yourself better, to trust yourself and your instincts. But to have known that from
Yeah.
that young age, I think that's quite wonderful.
Is this because I'm really cringy? I feel like, oh no, I just get uncomfortable by things like that. I just knew it wouldn't work. I did give it a go with my first, but with my second,
definitely not for me.
Yeah, it's not.
That's fair
And
enough.
again, that was something I wasn't, I wasn't prepared for because I didn't know, and we had to go get formula from the shop that was nearby, but you can't prepare the formula at the hospital, so you have to have pre-made formula, and then most bottle teats are too big for a newborn, so you have to get really special made ones, and I was just so clueless about that, and luckily we managed to get the pre-made ones with the tiny little teats from the shop that day. But yeah, I was just looking back, I was a fool. I didn't know anything.
Well, fair enough. It was your first time.
Yeah.
I think, most women, their first time, and most, co-parents as well, their first time is their first time.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And I just don't like this, your whole show's about is every other profession we are trained to do a profession or trained to do a job. And this is the one job that's probably the most important job you ever have.
Yeah.
And you have no training for it.
Nope, there is none. Never, at any point.
And even, we're all in the same boat. We're just winging it. We are just winging it.
It works out. But it works better when you share your knowledge.
Yes, definitely.
With others. And speaking of which, actually, I was wondering, have you ever met any other mum that had a water birth?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, one of my closest friends, she's got 2 children and both of hers were in water.
Wow, as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so wonderful.
Yeah. And then one of my colleagues, she just had, she's got 5 children. She did have a couple of water births, but she just had twins at home in a water birth, which is very impressive.
I think you need to introduce her to me. I think I need to talk to her. I want to know about...
You want to know about that?
Yeah, I want to know about that.
I'll speak to her.
Thank you. So maybe you've all heard it. Maybe we'll hear about that soon. Wow, I still want to know about that now. That is wild. But cool. I think we're probably getting to the end of your story. Is there anything you think that we missed or you'd like to share?
No, I just genuinely really recommend water births. If you're considering it, just definitely speak to your midwife about it, because it's a really natural way to have children, and it's a natural pain relief because you're in hot water, as you guys know, always naturally helps with pain, but also you're positioned in the good gravity. You're not fighting against the gravity, and it's just a really good way of having a baby, in my opinion. And I've always really raved to anyone I know to always consider a water birth when they're pregnant. So that's it.
I think we've all heard it. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're very welcome.
Very precious. I feel so lucky that I got to hear that, and I'm so happy that I get to share it with the village. So thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
What an inspiring journey. 3 babies, 3 water births, and 1 mum who trusted her body and instincts every step of the way. Melissa's story is such a beautiful reminder that birth can look and feel different for everyone, and that finding the approach that makes you feel safe, supported, and confident is what really matters. If you'd like to learn more about water births, you'll find all the links in the show notes. You've been listening to Raising with the Village. If you're enjoying these conversations, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Deezer, so you never miss a new story. New episodes come out every Thursday. You can also find us on Instagram at Raising with the Village, or on our website at raisingwith.co.uk, where you'll find more about the project and past episodes. If you have a story to share about parenting, step-parenting, or just navigating family life, I'd love to hear from you. You can get in touch through the website or send a message on Instagram, because every story shared helps another parent feel seen, heard, and supported. Until next time, bye-bye!